lovely.
Okay, lovely.
Your socks.
I know. Tragic. To be fair, I'd hoped. Okay, you can't. If I sit like a lady,
That's fine. That's fine.
you can't see the socks.
Is that a popular opinion towards the end, or
No, it's the first up.
It's the first
so the
thing?
people can get a
No.
vibe. I think I updated my unpopular opinion list.
Oh.
I have a running unpopular opinion list.
Can we like just cut it and then make sure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we start with the whole combo and then unpopular opinion at the end.
I can do that if that's what you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
It gives me time to think.
Okay.
Oh, I was supposed to get this on camera.
Okay.
I'll get it later. It's fine.
Sweet. Oh, I have to do the intro. Oh my gosh. I get so shy to do it in front of people.
You got this. You got this.
Okay. 3, 2, and 1. Wait, I said that and I don't remember what my intro is. Okay,
Hang on.
I got it. Hello, dreamers and thinkers, and welcome to another episode of Undone. It's a new season. Woo woo. On today's episode, I am joined by a multidisciplinary creative. First of all, I'm in Sydney. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm in Sydney. So I thought while I'm out here, I would link up with some of the greats and hear what is happening. What's the guans in Sydney? So on today's episode, I am joined by Intwari. Hello, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
So if you'd like to start off by telling the people, who are you? What do you do?
Hey guys, my name is Intwari. I am a multidisciplinary artist. I do poetry, photography, creative direction, and I am super curious about the arts in general, and I also like to have fun, just be a happy kid through the stuff that I create.
I love that. I don't know how I first came across your Instagram, and I'm like obsessed with your whole aesthetic and everything that you have going on. Love it. So I was wondering, from your perspective, what are 3 words that you would use to describe your artistic expression? And
First one that came to mind is joyful.
Oh yes.
Funny enough, I bumped into someone yesterday actually, and they said, "Oh, I can feel your energy through the work that you create." And so joyful, 1. 2, colorful. I do like a contrast when it comes to my work, and 3, movement, and that includes feelings as well.
Oh, can you say more about movement?
Movement.
Unpack that for us.
Movement. How can I explain the easiest way? But what I mean by movement is throughout my shoots, throughout the things that I create, I do like to incorporate movement in it, and it could be a way of expressing yourself, and how people like. Just by movement I mean expressing yourself and letting those emotions that you have built in be shown out throughout whichever way you can, either it being dance, either it being sports, either it being just having fun in front of the camera. And through that, I found it very comfortable for me to create, and also when I'm working with other people, they find it very comfortable to just be themselves and have fun.
I like that. Did you go to school for this?
Or
did you just vibe it out?
I just vibed
Now
it out.
I'm curious because I'm like...
I was just a curious kid, honestly.
I love that. And curiosity led you to creativity.
That's true.
Actually, that kind of leans into what my next question was going to be, which, were you always a creative kid, or as you became more curious?
Funny enough, in high school, I did all sciences.
Dang.
I was a science major.
But is that because you're African, or?
Yes. One, because you're African, but also because I did boarding school in Rwanda.
Oh,
and
okay.
The school that I was going to at the time was a very, very good school, and I was very lucky to be in that school. So to show my parents that, hey man, the school fees you're paying is worth it. Let me just do all the science majors, and I was just focused into sciences. But at the time, I kind of did poetry in school.
Okay.
I was writing, but then I was never into literature. I was never into the arts in school.
Were you sharing your poetry, or was it just like an outlet?
Just at the back of the book.
Dang.
Yeah. So during math class, it's just the back of the book. I just write a poem, and then I'll hide it. I never shared my work in high school.
I was gonna say, surely the teachers had to see if it was at the back of the book.
Nah. I always had that one book. You know that one book you never shared with the teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one. That's where the poetry was. Maths in the front, poetry in the back. Yeah. I love that. When did you start sharing your poetry?
2018.
Oh.
So
okay, yeah.
2018 roughly there. And that's when I created a blog, which was through WordPress.
Oh, okay. OG, you're an OG. Yeah. Everyone's using, is it Squarespace now or whatever? WordPress is for the OGs.
WordPress is the first place I shared my poems. And I think before that, I was just sharing it on my story. And I think I built the courage to share my pieces because they were all around mental health. They were around toxic masculinity as well.
Yeah. Ooh.
So that was tough as well. So, but through WordPress, that's where I shared my work and people were loving it. And they're like, hey, we'd love to see more of that side of you. So, yeah.
I love that. And about 6 years ago was when you kind of embarked on your like creative career, I guess. What were you doing before then? And like what sparked that leap?
Before then, I was just checking. Okay, it's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Before that, I was actually studying civil engineering.
Huh? Did you finish it or okay? That's when the
break. Because I did sciences in high school, and then I was like, all right, what can I do that is kind of similar to what I did in high school, civil engineering? Boom.
Yeah, makes sense.
I went to civil engineering. Did civil engineering for 2 years. Trust me, I loved it. Right? Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. I was doing good. I was passing and above that. I was getting distinctions. But then I wasn't really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I did my first year. I did my second year. And then during that time, I had a friend at the time. He introduced me to photography. Mm-hmm. So he was in the...
Don't say you're one of those people that just picked up photography. Don't piss me off.
At uni?
Yeah,
No,
like you just...
No, I did not pick it up at uni. No. I was just curious. I would probably have a free, during my break, I would say one of the classes, I would just sit in and just see what the class was doing.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those.
I thought you were going to say, I just picked up a camera one day and the rest is history. I was like, shut up.
Guys, so I picked up a camera in 2017.
People who say that, I'm like, how? Where?
It was, and the thing is, at the time, he was doing photography. It was more of landscape. It was more travel photography, vlogging. It was a vlogging era.
Yeah.
And then my brother was doing photography as well.
Yeah.
So you know how you always have that sibling that you want to copy and paste everything?
Yeah.
He was that sibling. So he had a camera and I would just borrow it, go for do some night photography. Yeah.
That's not easy. What do you mean? I'm just bored and go do night photography. Why were you starting with night photography?
I don't know. At the time, around the era of 2017, 18, 19, it was a trend. Night photography, going out into the city and shooting the trains.
With like the movements and the lights movement, and the yeah. No, the
vivid as well. Yeah. So it was a trend, and it was around the time where I picked up the camera, and I wasn't even sure what I was doing. I was just having fun with it. Yeah. So then eventually, after 2018, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from uni. It's supposed to be 3 to 6 months.
That was the first lie you told yourself.
That was the first lie I told myself. Is it 2018.
It'll just be 6 months and then I'll be back to do civil engineering. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
But since then, 2018, and then curiosity, and then just trying out different forms of photography, having fun with it, meeting people. Because I love to engage in conversations and putting myself in places that will get me noticed. Yeah. Because think about it, I did high school in Rwanda. Coming back here, didn't know anybody. Yeah. So photography and the arts was kind of a way for me to introduce myself into the Sydney creative scene.
I like 2 questions.
What's up?
When you were lying to yourself about leaving for 6 months, were you leaving because you weren't passionate about civil engineering? You wanted to see what else was out there, or you were like, this is my game plan for what I'm going to do in the 6 months that I'm leaving? Second question, how did you tell your African parents?
Okay.
How'd that go? Give people tips.
Let's do that. All right. So,
how to disappoint your African parents 101.
At the time, it was not a lie. It was let's think of it as Delulu. I was delusional, yeah?
You were delusional,
Alright?
and you're
I was
gonna
delusional. And I told myself I'll take 6 months. During the 6 months, not gonna lie, I went hard.
Yeah.
Like every single day, I was creating. It's either I was learning something new on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was out photographing at least 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
A week. And I was working full time as well. So I was making sure that I wasn't wasting my time outside of uni. So I was working full time and then at a warehouse. And then I was doing photography.
Yeah.
And then we're just doing weekends. We'll go for road trips.
Yeah.
Boom. And then we post on YouTube. We post on Instagram.
The whole thing.
We'll do the whole thing. We'll have fun with it. And I was determined.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I'm gonna take a break from uni, I need to at least show that I'm doing something rather than just galavanting.
I think that's a huge one that people don't think about. I'm like, African parents are fine if you can show them you have a game plan and you have a work ethic.
Honestly.
The minute you're like, I'm working on my rap career, and you spend your whole day sleeping and then you spend your whole weekend partying, and they're supposed to believe that the rap career is gonna come from you.
You need evidence. Honestly, because think of it, you are their investment, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be like,
topic.
Pause on the investment, I want to do a little detour and do something else.
Yeah.
So I went hard. Not gonna lie, 6 months. I had a great time. I learned a lot. I met so many people.
Yeah.
I traveled as well.
Oh, nice.
So I traveled back home. When I traveled back home, this was 2017. So I was traveling. I was going home for someone, coming back, doing that. 6 months went by, a year, and then I went back to uni. 2 years
later,
I'm back, and then the second question you asked me is, how did I tell my parents?
Yeah.
So, gladly, my parents don't live here.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Like work.
So they're retired and they live back home.
Yeah.
So as the time where I was pursuing photography, or let's say the creative passion thing at that time, they did not know that I was taking a break from uni. They were asked about it. I'm like, yeah, it's going great, yeah.
No, that's lying. We don't condone lying.
That we don't condone. But when I went back, so I moved back to Rwanda for 18 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, you know what? I want to go to Rwanda. I'll save all my money. I work at the warehouse. Go to Rwanda, pay, because I'm living with my siblings here.
Yeah.
But I'm paying rent. So I'm like, let me cover my rent. Let me pay my rent for the 18 months while I'm gone.
Yeah.
Go to Rwanda. Delve into the creative scene over there, because at the time it was still growing. So it was a lot to do at the time in 2018, 2019. And I was like, you know what? Let me go create a name for myself in Rwanda as well.
Yeah.
Meet some new people, have fun, have a good time. And I told my mom, I'm only here for 6 months. No, I'm only here for 3 months.
How did you get the other 15 months?
I just kept on pushing. I'm like, I missed my flight. I'll push it to another 2 months.
They didn't have another flight available for 6 months.
Yeah. And the thing is, it was all my money. So at the time, I was kind of like, I'm using my money. I'm not using your money, type of thing. But also, I was very respectful. I was like, you guys think I'm studying? Let me tell you the truth. So
while I'm here,
I was like, Mom. So I took a break from civil engineering. I'm pursuing this, and then obviously African parents, they would be like, no, finish your studies, no, stuff like that. And I hear where they're coming from, because the arts is not what we grew up with. It's
not stable.
It's not. Life as an artist is not stable.
Yeah.
Like, at the age I am now, I can tell you it is not stable.
Yeah.
But trying to explain from an African parent's perspective, they did not grow up in the arts.
Yeah.
The arts is not something that is stable, like you say, and it can be a passion, but something my mom always reminds me is like, have a backup.
Yeah.
And it's not bad to have a backup.
Yeah.
It's actually all right to have a backup. So when I told my mom about it, I'm like, okay, when I go back to Australia, I will enroll myself back into uni, but not for civil engineering.
Okay. It's like,
I am not going back for civil engineering.
You needed to let civil engineering go.
I gotta let that go, because if I continue the next 2 years, I'm only doing it for the degree. That's it.
Yeah.
And I want to do something. I want to at least do something that I love.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Told my dad. My dad was. So it was my mom, which is hard to convince.
Yeah.
But then eventually they got around, understood what I do. Where I put my work. They follow me on Instagram, they follow me on TikTok, everywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing for me to hide. I'm like, see what I do, see what I create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did your 18 months, that's a long ass time, in Rwanda impact your, I guess, you as a creative now?
How it impacted me big time is one, being very proud of my name, Intwari,
Yeah.
which means hero. And
Nice.
it's a very patriotic
It
name.
sounds powerful too.
Sounds super powerful. So shout out to my mom for giving me that name. And while I was there, there's a lot of other Rwandans, because when I'm there, it's like another name, but
Yeah.
over here is very powerful.
It's like, what?
It's like, ooh, what is your name?
I felt that. Over here, my name's
Yeah.
fun. And then you meet a whole bunch of Zimbabweans and you realize it's a basic name.
Exactly. But while I was there for the 18 months, it was very hard to convince people, because I'm coming from Australia where Sydney, where the creative scene is booming, and it's very saturated. You gotta create a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And then taking what I learned and experiences that I had in the 1 year or 2 years, trying to go to Rwanda and then convince a cafe that, hey, I can create content for you for Instagram, TikTok, even Snapchat too, because the people my age use Snapchat. I'll go to a brand, I'm like, hey, I have this campaign idea in mind, let me run it through you, blah blah blah, and this is my rates, and my rates were nothing. But at the time I was 21 around there. It's very hard to convince a business owner that this is your vision, this is what you can do for them. It's like, nah, let me go the usual route. So it was very hard. I spent days literally just knocking on doors, trying to start conversations, and people telling me no. But eventually, as the time went by, I think the persistence helped, because they saw my face. They're like, okay,
this kid never leaves.
This kid never leaves. No, it doesn't take no for an answer. But showing them this is what I create, I'll do free content. I'm like, this is what I create. This is the engagement. This is what I can do for you. This is my rate. It's only a little bit. It's not going to cost you that much. And I started working with brands and started putting my name out there. And the great thing is, until now, is my biggest supporters are Rwandans. In Rwanda, literally.
That.
And my work or my name wouldn't have pause. Can I pick this up? The Rwandan people back home in Rwanda are the biggest people who engage with my stuff, and I wouldn't have been where I'm at now if it wasn't for them. And while I was there, I was receiving a lot of love. I was working with a lot of creatives, and it taught me, regardless of where you want to go, don't forget where you started. Don't forget who you are. And you are a Rwandan in the diaspora. So you are representing, and be very proud of that, because in Australia there's not many of us. But it reminded me never to forget that I started from somewhere, and to carry my culture, or to carry the things that I learned back home onwards, with the conversations that I hold, the places that I'm in, and the work that I create.
How do you think your work represents like the idea that you're Rwandan but you're living in Australia?
It's super hard, actually.
It's
super hard. I would say mainly because I was born here but grew up there, then came back. So
the whole identity,
thing,
belonging. You're like, you're here and you're not really Australian. You go home, you're not really like Rwandan like they are. Like,
But I think it's the humility, the what's the word? Rwandans are really humble people. Very soft spoken, and that, through conversations that I hold, through how I engage with people, that I feel like growing up in Rwanda and learning that has helped me actually navigate myself through the scene. Because it can get very dark in this scene. But that has helped me navigate myself. And not until recently that I've just decided, I'm like, hey, I would love to work with other Rwandans who live in Australia, live in Sydney, New South Wales, wherever, who are creatives as well and upcoming, and create a piece that we can share, or we can exhibit and say, hey, we are Rwandans in the diaspora.
That'd be dope.
This is the work that we do. But a lot of, I'd say the 6 years was all about trying to define myself.
Yeah.
And not, trying to define myself through what I create, putting out stuff, meeting people.
Yeah.
But also at the time, I don't think I was carrying, as a Rwandan in the diaspora, what can I do to shine? It was more like, what can I do as a creative to shine? Because I'm trying to break through as well. And I feel like I'm at a comfortable place right now where I could utilize all the lessons, the things that I've learned, and the passion that I have to pour back into my community.
I love that. I think more people need to think like that. My friends and I have been having conversations around that, where I think we get here and we get wrapped up in everything that's happening, and we're trying to, like, whether you're in corporate, whatever you're in, you're just trying to shine and like push through. But then at some point it's like, what are we doing to give back to our community and build a name for our community and build things that we can be proud of? So I love that idea, by the way. If that happens, let me know. I'd fly back to Sydney for 2 seconds just to watch the...
Who said I'm not bringing it to Melbourne?
As you should. Before we started recording, I was telling him how he should move to Melbourne because that's where the market is. That's all I'm saying.
Melbourne, I love you. I love the passion you have.
He's focusing on the wrong things.
Let him cook.
Go on.
Melbourne, I love the passion you have. I love the community.
Yeah.
But
don't.
One thing, the weather.
Focusing on the wrong thing.
No. Yo, the weather. 5 seasons in one day. I could not. Sorry.
I'd like to say I was here Friday and Saturday, and Sydney did the same thing. So
exactly.
People in Sydney are dramatic.
Exactly,
they experience it too.
She brought the weather.
That's crazy. Moving on. So this podcast was actually started out of a trip I had taken to Kenya, where it was supposed to be 6 weeks and then COVID happened. So it was 5 weeks. And I was just I also did sciences. So I was volunteering and interning at a research lab in Kenya.
Okay.
And whilst I was there, I feel like it was probably the most pronounced time where I was like figuring out what my identity was, because I was a Black African in an African country, but they didn't know how to receive me and where to put me. And because of the type of research lab it was, they got a lot of Americans. So they're like, are you African American? I was like, no, I'm from Zimbabwe. They're like, Zimbabwe's just down south. I was like, I know. Like, why do you sound like that? Why do you act like that? I'm like, because I love Zimbabwe when I was 4. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So it was just like going through a lot of like unpacking identity and belonging. And then I guess from there was where I would say my creative journey started, once I think I had not a hold off, I guess kind of what like my identity looked like and where I felt I belonged. And so I guess I kind of want to know more about how those 18 months in Rwanda impacted your ideas and views around identity and belonging. Yeah.
Oh, definitely first couple of weeks I did not feel like I belonged, but it's because like I said, I'm grateful that I have best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That is one thing. I have best of both worlds, Australia.
It's a superpower, really.
Yeah, it is. Rwanda and Australia. And but then as well, it's the way I believe my parents raised us. And even though I moved there for those 18 months, I had blonde hair. Okay. Yeah, my tips are blonde, right? My hair, I had a lot of hair. I know. Let me.
I was screaming. They would have known immediately this guy's not from around here.
100%. Immediately they're like, yeah, this guy's not from here. So I had really long hair and it was blonde, and I used to tie my hair in a bun, and then, but culture-wise, men do not tie their hair in a bun. It's women do that. So. It was very confusing because I'm very stubborn as well at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, and Rwanda's other thing was staring as well. Oh my God, they will death stare you
And you're like, hi, I can see you.
And you would feel like you're in the wrong for staring at them, and they're staring at you. But also, I was like, I had to remember that I'm standing out, right?
Yeah.
I'm as much as I'm Rwandan, but also I look completely different. Long hair, blonde, tie in a bun, stuff like that. And then even though I speak the language, there is a way that you can still know that. Yeah,
it's the same with me.
It's not from here, even though I speak the language fluently.
Even without an accent, because I know for some people they speak the language, but it has like a bit of an accent to it. I don't even sound like that, but they just know.
Like I'll give you a great example. Like in Australia, we speak really fast, right?
Yeah.
But then when I switch to Kinyarwanda, it's gotta be very slow and mellow.
Yeah.
So if I'm greeting, it's muraho.
Yeah.
But in Australia, hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Sped up,
so I forgot the question.
Identity, belonging. 18 months ago. Yes. I was like, me too. I forgot.
I did not yet. So first couple months, obviously, I did not feel comfortable trying to navigate myself, trying to navigate places that I wanted to be in as well, meeting new people, because a lot of my friends did go over to the diaspora for school.
Yeah.
So navigating myself at that time was very tough at the beginning, but then eventually, like, I find a way to create home wherever I go.
Yeah.
And it's a superpower.
About to say that literally, yeah.
It's a superpower, and I find a way to navigate myself within communities, and eventually I find my feet in there, which was super helpful. And as the time went, or people I was having conversations with or meeting, they would understand. Okay, this guy's from Australia. He's Rwandan at the same time. He's a different person, but yeah, he's a cool guy.
One of us.
And then I did not have to conform.
Yeah.
Which is very easy to do, because if you don't want to stand out, you have to conform.
Yeah.
And I did not want to do that, but also not in a stubborn way, but in a way that I'm kind of saying that I know myself.
Yeah.
And that's not who I'm trying to be. This is who I am.
Yeah.
But also as well, even though I was there for 18 months, it still had a positive impact on me.
Yeah.
And reminded me, even though I live in the diaspora now, that there is still a lot that I did not cherish when I grew up there, or I did not want to learn, because ignorance is bliss. But then I remember that these are the things that I really need to hold on to, because if I lose it, the next generation is going to lose it. So it taught me to learn more about the things that I did learn in school, or I had conversations with my parents about, but then I wanted to actually make sure that I wasn't forgetting those things, either the history or the conversations, or even a little bit of the culture. So I want to go back, man.
I feel like you should.
I really want to go back.
I feel like you have ideas, and you should go back and act them out.
I'm coming.
You mentioned earlier
toxic
masculinity and mental health, and I was like, bingo. I've definitely seen it in some of your work as well, is that you don't it's not like you overtly talk about mental health, but you discuss a lot of themes and stuff that are around mental health. I guess, what made you start doing that as a black man, an African black man? Because, I feel like you guys speak about mental health the least. So you're one of the few that speak about it publicly and openly.
We do not have the spaces, but we don't create the spaces anyway.
Thank you. I was about to say.
We don't create the spaces in that way. So
in which way? Ooh,
so we create the spaces in so many other different ways. It could be
testosterone. Yes.
Testosterone. You see it from the sidelines, it looks like a bunch of boys' testosterone levels going higher, but then it's just that's our safe space. So it could be a football game, it could be boys watching UFC, it could be at the barbershop.
Barbershops.
The barbershops don't hit like they used to. Let me just say that.
Damn. Okay, what's changed?
It is just come on in, cut your hair, get out,
and leave.
Cash.
People are going through things. They don't have time anymore. They're trying to be in and out.
Type of thing.
He's trying to have as many people in his chair as possible.
It could be boys' night out in a positive way there, not not boys being boys type of stuff.
Mm.
So those are the spaces that we've been used to, and we pass down, or even a barbecue, or we pass down to the younger generation. So we haven't. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's like we haven't rebranded it in a way, like currently the new thing that I've been seeing is boys hosting dinner at theirs and then coming over. Yeah.
Oh, like on TikTok and stuff.
On TikTok and stuff.
Weren't you part of the group that was doing that in Sydney? Was it last year? 2 years ago?
I just attended.
Yeah.
So that night as well was, oh my God, it was so great. So
that was so wholesome.
all those boys on that table, we've been in similar spaces, events, parties, everywhere. Like we've been in similar spaces, but that night it felt really raw. It felt really fun, just laughing left, right, and center. And the conversations we're having, it was different age groups as well. The conversations we're having, and we had a therapist on the table. We had artists, we had musicians, we had poets, we had photographers.
Yeah.
So it was a wide range, and it was just literally, we did not talk anything work related, nothing arts related. It was just, oh my God. One person dropped the question, "How's your week been?" And then everyone was like, where do I begin?
Let me tell you.
So that's a heavy question, especially in Sydney. How's your week been? Oof. It's like, it's like, hey man, you're too personal. So we do have safe spaces, but we just haven't rebranded it. And I feel like that dinner thing that currently being hosted is kind of like the rebrand, and is the beginning of new spaces that men feel comfortable sharing. So when I started talking about toxic masculinity and mental health, it wasn't me barking at other men or like trying to call out other men or other people for not speaking about it. It's just I felt comfortable sharing. I felt comfortable sharing my experiences, the conversations that I had with other people. And through that, I found it comfortable to write and post, because the people who were creating safe spaces for me were the women.
Let's talk about that.
So the people who were creating safe space for me to share my work or to even listen were the women. And through that, I found it very comfortable to talk about those topics. And even though, like you said, I don't know how you mentioned it, but I don't speak about it very, very loudly. But then I kind of do speak about it to my best potential, because I'm not an expert. I do not dig deep and try to study it as much, but I just share my experiences and stories that I have. And through that, I hope to start a conversation with other people. And I have started a conversation with other men about it. And the way that I share my work is less of me telling you what mental health is, how to deal with it, what you're doing wrong, blah, blah. No. It's, hey, this is my experience. This is what I experienced. This is how I navigated it. I'm putting it out into the world. If this is something you can relate to,
then let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Do people usually hit you up when they see your posts?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
The brothers hit me up too.
So
the brothers message me, I'm like, hey man, I appreciate you being raw and just sharing your work like that. It takes a lot. I'm like, yeah man, it does take a lot. And then obviously I try to slam them like,
so
resonate with anything in that blog post?
Would you like? Let's talk about it. Let's unpack that.
And I try not to push it, because when you push it, a lot of men haven't. I don't want to say a lot of men. Some men haven't found ways to navigate their feelings. So, or they navigate it in different ways, but not by speaking about it, not by sharing it. And they do it in their best way possible. So it's all about understanding how someone deals with their emotions. It's not like a plus B is equal to C equation, and all men should follow that.
So, this is what it looks like.
This guy's sharing his story. Why don't you open up?
You start a blog. No, that makes sense. What was my follow-up question from that? Wait for it. Where did it go? Oh no. Mental health, men, sharing. Oh yes. Okay. Is mental health something that you're passionate about, or you're just not passionate, but like sharing your journey and what you're going through, and mental health obviously is a part of that? Does that make sense? Do I need to reword that question?
Say it again.
Oh yeah, is mental health something that you're passionate about, or is it more so you're more passionate about like sharing your journey and mental health happens to be a part of that?
Correct. That part, yeah. So yeah, I'm passionate about sharing my journey, and mental health is a part of it because we're human.
It's a part of everyone's journey.
You're human before you're anything else. So
yeah.
Before I want to share, oh my God, this is my successes. This is what I did. This is what I have in mind. These are the projects that I have in mind. I was like 6 months ago, I had a creative burnout.
Yeah.
And
I loved that video. Yes.
If I don't speak about the creative burnout, people think it's all sunshine.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to help, or if I'm trying to be as raw as possible on the socials, I need to share both sides of the story.
Yeah.
So me sharing about my creative burnouts is one, me re-navigating myself, and understanding, okay, this is your very toxic cycle of burning out, creating and burning out.
Yeah.
So I'm calling myself out, one, holding myself accountable. Yeah. And two is I'm sharing it with people who are currently burnt out or trying to navigate out of that burnout and recreate again. And me sharing my story helps other people, or it says, oh my God, I'm not alone. Yeah. And also it keeps me accountable as well. It's like, okay, if I've shared this, let me share this side of the story as well, and then I can just continue being literally just being myself, and not trying to hide parts of myself and not say, but at the same time it's like you got to keep parts of yourself to yourself, right? So I'm not sure yet.
I was actually thinking about that. I'm going through this journey where I'm trying to find out how people do it, where you share enough but don't share too much, because as it pertains to online, I feel, because online I prefer to give nothing, to be completely honest.
You can share one liner of your experience.
Yeah.
Right? You can share one line of your experience and you don't even have to get deep into it. Literally, that one line, it can be like, oh my God, bars.
Yeah.
And it's all about the follow-up.
Yeah.
So it's all about the follow-up, and what the follow-up sentences or words are is what everyone can relate to. Yeah. And I feel it's not really surface level, but it's not also too deep. It's right in between. Yeah. Where the warm waters are, it's right in between. And the more you do it, the more you find your comfort of how much you want to share, how much you want to keep to yourself, how much you want to be raw, how much you want to hide. And people can tell that, like, she's hiding. Because if I can have a conversation 100%. With her and she shares like this, and then on the socials is a whole different brand, people will know.
100%.
Energy does not lie.
100%. I feel like I just do better one-on-one. Also, the internet is such a complex place to navigate. Have you seen all those videos about the way people just miss context clues?
Let them.
Like that irks me. If I see someone responds to my story and I'm like, how did you, what?
Honestly, I sometimes get that, oh my God, you're very nonchalant. Sheesh, I don't know. Probably I am.
You're like, is that the vibe I'm giving?
Literally, I do not care.
Yeah.
I tell my sister, like, I don't care. Like, she goes back and watches my stories, like, oh my God, people are going to think that you... I'm like, hey, listen, this is my intention. Yeah. I put it out that way. Whoever wants to think whatever.
They can think it that whatever.
Perspectives, and I can't control their perspective.
Every time,
it's all about my intention.
Yeah.
So that also makes you comfortable about being yourself, because if you're afraid to be yourself, you're going to want to tiptoe and cater to every single person. Imagine catering to every single person on the socials.
There's too many people to cater to. No. You can't make everyone happy, even if you did cater to them.
You cannot. You have to give zero.
Period. I love that. Okay, so you had a project, Men Do Not Cry. Yes. Tell us about it.
Oh, you're going to love this one. So Men Do Not Cry was a poetry piece that I wrote in 2018.
I've seen it. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
2018. It was a poetry piece that I shared on WordPress. It was just a blog. People loved it. It was literally a journal entry. From there, I...
Pause. Also, because recently we've been talking about journal entries. Was it an exact journal entry, or it was like you had a journal entry and then you worked it into Men Do Not Cry?
It was actually a journal entry, Men Do Not Cry.
Journaling, people don't journal equally. How is that what's in your journal? And then some of us...
I looked at it, I was like...
Talking about today was a hard day, full stop.
I looked at it, I was like, this one's bad. And because I was
That's
sitting
insane.
I was on a train ride. I was on a 3-hour train ride. I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was writing. And I was like, whoa, this can be a blog post.
That's insane. Yeah.
So let me take it out of my journal, boom, put it into a blog, disappear. So I posted and dipped.
Yeah.
And wrote that in 2018, sorry. Posted it. Did nothing about it. Just did WordPress. Everyone liked it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this can be powerful. Let me do, at the time I was very into audios. So I was like, let me do a voiceover. I did a voiceover. I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah, you're like, this is fire.
Okay, what can we do after that? I hit up, and then my friend Cobbler, Richmond Cobbler, I love him. And he's a photographer. He's like, hey man, let's turn this into a photo series. Okay, we did that photo series in 2019 at my cousin's rooftop. Shot it. It was 5-6 other guys. Boom. And then I was like, hey man, how about if we did a short film? Cool. Then I got one of my friends who's a filmmaker. Her name is Elise Musa. Oof, wonderful. The reason why I got Elise Musa is because I wanted the female's perspective on the topic Men Do Not Cry and how she would document it.
Yeah.
And she did such a wonderful job. Oh my God. And then, it was just a piece. Share on Instagram, share it on YouTube for the socials. And then, fast forward to 2022.
Yeah.
Richmond Cobbler got selected for the photo walk in Melbourne to showcase his work.
And it was on the building.
Yes, it was.
Yes. I'm remembering.
That was a career highlight.
That's insane.
6 stories.
It was huge.
It was humongous. So that was, that was the project. And the love that it received in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I must say thank you very much.
Listen.
But after that project, I was like, I need to create the same momentum in my future works.
Yeah.
Nothing less. And working with the boys especially has been very inspiring, and I keep working with them on projects that come forward. So
I love that work that means something, and that has impact, because that would have sparked so many conversations.
Yes, and it still does till today.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a journal entry. Look at what you turned out into be.
That's insane.
So think bigger.
I love that.
Yeah, go above and beyond.
Damn. Okay.
Okay,
I like that.
Yeah.
Now I need to watch the short story. Where is it? Actually, tell the people, where can they find the short film?
On my Instagram, but you're gonna have to scroll. So if you're really dedicated, you're gonna have to scroll to the bottom.
Why have you not pinned it?
One thing about pinning is I don't like pinning. I used to pin. I don't like it.
Why?
Because I want to keep people up to date with what I create. And for the real ones, if you know, you know.
Don't do that.
No. If you know, you know. Like, I will pin it probably, but then it's.
I feel like it deserves a pin.
It deserves a pin, but I got rid of every pin. I was like, I want all my works, as much as I love all my works, I want it to all be equal. Not like, hey guys, look what I did.
This is my shining star, and then this is Yeah,
so I'll probably pin it after this.
Fair enough. No pressure.
Thank you.
I think you should pin it. Yes. Oh, you are a Converse All-Star. Are you currently in the current last year?
Last year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I joined Converse in 2018. Oof, it was my year.
You back to back to back.
I was back to back to back. I was unstoppable. So I joined Converse in 2018.
Was it 2018?
Yeah.
Bro, this whole time I fully thought it was last year. I thought you were in the same year as Lydia.
No.
Tasama.
Yeah, I know Lydia Tasama. I'm just trying to think if we came winning the same year.
No, because she was last year, I'm pretty sure.
But like, we've been in it since 2018. Yeah, we've been in it since 2018.
True. Okay, tell us about it. Tell us more. What you been doing?
First, it's like getting Converse's attention. It's like, hey, I'm just a regular guy on Instagram trying to get Converse's attention.
Notice me.
Notice me. This is what I do. And at the time, 2018, remember, I just started off with photography, so I did not have much on my portfolio.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to create, get the attention, because I had a couple of friends who were in the Converse All-Star team, and I was like, well, it would be lovely to be a Converse All-Star too. Yeah. So I bought this one pair of shoe, my first ever Converse, and I was so broke. I could not even afford it. So I told my coworker, I was like, hey, please, can I borrow $80 to go buy these Converse shoes, and I'll pay you next week when payday comes.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, wonderful. So she lent me $80. I went and bought my first Converse shoes, basic black and white, and we did a shoot, and then I just keep doing shoots in them.
Yeah.
Shoot after shoot.
You're like, y'all gonna notice me. Gonna get my $80 back.
I'm gonna spam you. I'm gonna turn that $80 into 80,000.
Literally.
Yeah. So every single shoot that I had, because at the time I was behind the camera, but then at the same time I was like, to be noticed, you gotta be in front at the same time. Yeah. So I was like, oh, boom, let me switch around. Let me be in front of the camera. Let me model with these shoes. And just switch outfits, do fun shoots, do road trips, make sure I get the Converse in it. Yeah. You know, just get the attention.
Whole thing just like
I go.
brand placement.
Here you go. And then they messaged me. No, they saw my story. Oh. I was like, here we go.
I made it.
And then I sent them a whole template. Hey guys, my name is Ibrahim Intwari. I'm a content creator. And they looked at it and they're like, oh, we currently do not have any enrollment at the moment. Yeah. But we do have one coming up in October, November. Yeah. You can apply then. I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye out. Yeah. So I applied for that, got in. Wonderful. It was just, I still have the videos. I still look at them. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. I did that. It was such a beautiful journey. Then COVID happened, but then there was a lot of collaborations online with other Converse All-Stars. So it was a fun community. 2022 was my year as well.
Even numbers like that for you.
Yeah. So 2022 we hosted a CX series. So it was a new shoe that they had dropped at the time. Yeah. And it was my friend Daniela and Shen. We were selected amongst multiple Converse All-Stars based in Sydney to open up to do an exhibition. Ah, dope. An immersive exhibition in Sydney. It was just in Surrey Hills. And we had 7 days to brainstorm, to source, to put together, and to market the whole process. 7 days.
So was this meant to be like one of those TV shows, like, you know, where they like...
Yeah.
Is that what the vibe they were going for? Because...
It literally felt like that. And I'm telling you, we hadn't met or we hadn't worked together with other two. So first day I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We have a room, we have 2 rooms. What are we going to do with that? And we brought our ideas together and we did a wonderful, wonderful exhibition, and it was open for 2 weeks.
Dang.
2 weeks. Opening night was wonderful. Had friends and family there. We had ABC there, Channel 9. Converse team.
I know that's right. Yeah.
It was good. It was wonderful. But I enjoyed the 2 weeks because the 2 weeks is I got to host people every single night to come through and experience the space and walk them through. This is what we created. This is what this is. That's what that means. And then in the second room you have grass, and then you have your bean bags, and then you have your humidifier. You have it was a beautiful space. If you were there, you were there. And the conversations that I had in those rooms, the memories that I had, just beautiful. And I learned so much during that time. And then also coming to Melbourne as well, meeting Converse All-Stars in Melbourne, networking with Lydia, Noah, and all that. It's been super beautiful. And like to this day, they're family. Yeah. So anytime I'm in Melbourne, I let them know. Anytime they're in Sydney, they let me know. Yeah. And it's beautiful because you build that community just through a passion that you have, and you share the similarity, which is the brand, but then it's very natural. Yeah. So I really enjoy my time being a Converse All-Star. I
like that. Yeah. As we're wrapping up, the closing question is usually, what is one thing you think everyone should know?
Everyone should know.
Like, not about you, but like in general, about life, about, I don't know, the creative process, about like, what is one thing that you think everyone should have this in their toolbox of knowledge?
As a creative?
Go as a creative.
As a creative,
I was like, we're going through okay, let's go.
This is be yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Let yourself be. because you're going to have your moments where
yeah.
you fluctuate. So remember to have moments where you are at ease. Oh, I got bars.
Let's go.
3 is have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to turn that passion into a job that you end up hating because you chase into the bag.
Yeah.
Remember the why. Do it for the why.
Have a why.
Have a why.
Yeah.
Also, never stop creating because you are creating for yourself first, then your community, and also you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
So continue being yourself, create, share your work, be authentic, and you never know which project that you put out there will catch the attention of the person that you actually want to talk to, or the person you want to invest in you.
Yeah.
Either you being a brand, anyway, I don't know, whatever. You never know who's watching. So never give up on yourself. It's okay to take breaks.
Oh, that's a huge one. It's okay to take breaks.
It's okay to take
breaks. I really loved your story. Not that I feel like we could definitely have delved in a lot deeper into your whole story creative journey. But I love that from it you can see your passion for the work that you do and for community. But also you're just very authentic. Like even sitting down as I'm like, authenticity is like the main word that sticks out, is that you're just about being authentic. But I love how your story is a representation of like what working hard looks like, but not losing yourself in the process of working hard, like having a vision and doing what it takes to get there and actually seeing that pay off and like learning from it along the way, which I really love. And I think with the podcast, I have been saying this offline, but I don't think I've said it online yet. The whole, I guess, purpose around the conversations that I hope to have is that they'd be holistic and intergenerational conversations on mental health. And I know we did explicitly touch on mental health, but I think it's important to hear from people who are in all walks of life, and how they're just navigating life and being an African in the diaspora, and the challenges they're facing. And I love what your story represents as a creative and as an African and as a child in the diaspora. So yeah, it's been really great. I loved it.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get you back.
Pop to Melbourne, let's come.
Yes, because you're moving to Melbourne, because it just makes sense.
Not happening.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, let me go first.
Okay, go.
Let me cook. My unpopular opinion is, send your kids back home.
Yikes!
Yes.
Damn. Okay, so, why?
The reason why. Once they turned around, between the ages of 9 to 12 is the best time frame to send your kids back home.
Yeah.
If they were raised and born in the diaspora.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I feel like between those are the right ages to instill, I believe, the best of your culture into them before they lose themselves in the Western society. So my parents, that's what they did. Oh my God. We're supposed to go for Christmas holiday.
Yeah. And you never came back. I love when parents do that. Yes. We're just going on holiday, one way ticket.
At the time, we're like, yeah, we're just going to go for December holidays. I was there for 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you should have been.
But it was the best 8 years of my life.
Yeah.
Very transformative. And I am who I am today because of those 8 years I was back home.
Yeah.
So send your kids back home. It's just for a holiday.
I like that. They'll never know. How will they know?
But at the same time as well, if you are between the ages of, let me say, let's say you're 19 to 20, whatever. Yeah, if you're grown to travel alone, instead of doing your trips to Bali, please go home.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. Yes, okay? Yes.
Go home for a holiday. Just even if it's 2 weeks, just go home and come back. That's it. But never forget where you come from. Okay.
100%. I agree. Yes. My unpopular opinion, as of recent, I was watching a YouTube video and she was talking about how stingy people irk her. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is me. People who are stingy. I actually cannot do it. I didn't realize how much it bothers me. And I think it's because my parents just raised us to be so generous and open-handed. So like, I just can't people who keep a balanced checkbook of like, you did this for me, so I have to do this for you, or like
Split the bill.
Split the bill.
To a certain extent, though.
To a certain extent, 100%. But like, if it's something, if we go to McDonald's, like, it's okay. It's okay. Or people who gatekeep because they just feel like there's not enough for everyone, so they need, like, no, I can't do it. Stingy people irk me. So that's my unpopular opinion.
Wow.
Sweet. Okay.
See ya.